Good evening, fellow Entropians. How are we all doing tonight? Another video. This time I'm stopping in still at Port Atlantis. Good starting spot for everyone. We'll do a little something different though, because the time frame. Right now we're in the middle of the Merry Mayhem event. Fun little Christmas event, happens every year. There's actually a creature that is issued this time of year strictly for newer players. Maybe not fresh off tutorials new, but pretty close. It's only a little more difficult than the first video creatures, the puties and whatnot. Only slightly bigger. They're called Merry Snargs. Now, Snargs are actually in the game on their own. This is just a holiday version of it, and they run rampant at several different locations. Port Atlantis being one, as it's one of the more popular ones. I also believe it's by, might be by Orthos. I think there's also some by Twin Peaks as well. But I'm not entirely sure about that one. But I know Port Atlantis is a popular one because, constantly see people over there for this event. This event also comes with some added benefits. If you manage to kill 300 of them, if you return to a mission giver, a certain mission giver in this area, who is actually right behind me, so to give you some perspective, it's right next to the Port Atlantis Mall. If you get the mission from her, she'll have you kill 300 of the Merry Snargs. Now, it will take you a little bit of time to kill 300 of them. That's a lot of time spent, a lot of ammo used, but it is definitely well worth it, because once you actually finish the event, she'll give you a rifle. It's a limited rifle. However, it's much better than any of the TT rifles. It's even better than the Barbarella, which I recommended in the first video, which is part of the starter pack. Again, I recommend the starter pack for the sheer fact that it's great to start off with. Between the armor, which I'm actually wearing, it's the Harrier Adjusted, and then the Barbarella. Great ones to use, and although it shouldn't be here, up there above that door, that's one of the Merry Snargs. I have no idea how it managed to sneak in here, but it did. That's pretty odd. I'm surprised it got past the turrets. So I'm going to actually walk over to where they are spawning. Now it is a little bit of a hike to get over there. The easiest way to do it, it's out the west side of Port Atlantis. Just follow this road, because they actually spawn pretty close to the road. It's the easiest way to locate them. Typically I'd use a vehicle, but for authenticity's sake, I'm going to do this like a new person would be doing. Although the vehicle that I have is actually one of the starter vehicles. When you get the starter pack, it does come with a vehicle. It does come with some oil, for fuel, to be able to use it. It also comes with a couple HDNA chips, which are allow you to revive right where you died. It has its advantages. I'm not a big fan of them because usually when you revive when you die, you're reviving right next to the mob that killed you. I mean, unless you fell off a cliff or a building or something and died and want to spawn right there, I really don't see a lot of the benefit in using them. That's my preference. To each his own. There is, obviously circumstances where it could be beneficial. I believe also with the starter pack you get an enhancement that increases your skill gain. I think you get like 5 or 6 of these. I have a few more of them because you also get them from the strong boxes that you can purchase. You can also win strong boxes. You can actually win some strong boxes from these Merry Snargs. Now you need a strong box key to open them, regardless of where you get them from. You have to purchase a strong box key, of course. But you get some good stuff in them. But back to the main purpose of this video are these Snargs over here. Now, like I did with the first video, I always recommend trying to get at full range when you're trying to attack these. That gives it makes it a lot longer for them to actually come and catch up to you to be able to hit you. keep the authenticity. I'm using the starter attack gun the same way I trained, same way I hit the 300 for these guys. Same armor, same gun, just to show that it is quite possible. Now the gun won't hit any harder because I've got more skills or anything. It's just gonna hit max for what the max skill that it can do. Which, while we're waiting for this guy to come up, I'm gonna slowly back up. You see, max hit, because I'm also using the amp that came with the starter pack. Came with a scope too. I don't use the scope for on this gun because I actually use it on my ILR-10. You can still see the action going on here. But it's only hitting from 5.5 to 11, and that's the max. Max right there is 5.5 to 11. Now when you first start out, this side is what you're actually hitting with your skills. Based on your skills, you're going to be hitting a percentage of this. Now once you start skilling up, you'll be able to eventually hit this. Everything on the left is what you are doing with your current ability. So keep that in mind. And you want to try to get weapons, although right in the beginning it will be fairly impossible to find weapons, where you're going to be hitting the max numbers all the time. But as you start improving, you're going to want to aim for weapons that you're close to hitting max. Otherwise you're wasting money because you're wasting ammo, because you're not hitting to the full potential. As you can see, the more skilled up you get, the quicker you can fire. More skilled up, the farther away you can shoot. So things like that are quite beneficial. But again, it comes with time. Nothing happens overnight. The only way you can really overnight any of those skills are getting skill implant chips, which I don't recommend starting off for a few different reasons. One, they're expensive. You're going to spend a lot of PED when you could be spending it on oops, hit info accidentally. You can be spending on things to actually play the game, enjoy the game. Shortcuts to get more skills. It's not worth it in my opinion, especially for the cost. Another reason is once you skill in, you're only skilling one thing at a time. As I'm sure you notice, I'm skilling multiple different categories by killing these. But if I were to get a skill chip, it would only be one of these, so one of those would be really high, and the rest would be really low. It creates an imbalance, which can almost be hurtful in the end, unless you buy skill chips for all the categories. Which, again, we're getting into that money thing where it costs quite a bit. You notice I'm staying away from the road a little bit. There are quite a bit of them on the road, but there's 2 other people down here that are hunting as well. I'm trying to be respectful. They were here before me. You gotta share the mobs. You see, these things are very quick. They do still hit. They hit pretty good. But being level 3, they are not, uber difficult. Something I would not do, right off the day 1, because you will spend a lot of time, healing. I do recommend the armor for these creatures. Usually with punies or anything under level 3, you can kind of get away without it. Oh look, actually, I got a weapon from that one. Oops, this one's stuck on armor. I've got a weapon to use. That's not a great weapon, but hey, free weapons are free weapons. So when I'm ready to level up, I believe this is the BLM weapon type. Yeah, that's grenade weapon type, uses explosive projectiles. Explosive projectiles are a little costly. Unfortunately, you can't use universal ammo for these. But can be a little costly, but they also have the benefit of hitting multiple targets at once. Only a few weapons have that ability. That's great when you're in large areas, large amounts of mobs all together. Also helps occasionally if they get stuck. Kind of like unstick them if they get stuck in a tree. Happens all the time when I'm killing Argonauts. You'll see them that they generate it inside of a tree and they're unable to kill, except if you manage to hit them with, you know, explosives. Later on, you will see mobs that do damage themselves. That is, you know, area of attack. The robots are popular for that one. I haven't done much skilling on robots. They are quite difficult. And again, I am not much farther, you know, beyond newer levels than, you know, I'm trying to share my experiences as they happen, as I'm passing through them. This is what I did, this is what I learned, this is what I did right, this is what I did wrong. And I hope I get feedback from you guys. If you see me doing something wrong, please shoot me a comment. You know, I like hearing your opinions, hear your ideas on things I've done or am doing. I just noticed they're about to kill me. I should pay attention to my health a little bit more. And these things are quite aggressive, so even if you're just running down that road, they will try to, you know, they're pretty aggressive. So make sure you do have health kits on you, because it is a little bit of a walk back here if I were to die. I just got a global. 5.9, yeah, it's a little over 6. A little over 6 PED. It's nice. It's always fun when you can see swirls, especially since I'm recording it and it's completely organic. I've got a couple videos of just, you know, 30-second clips of me global, and hopefully, you know, I'm going to get lots more of them. I kind of want to do a compilation of globals. Not so much for bragging, just to see the variety of mobs that you can, you know, global on. Which I think you can global on just about every single one. Just the requirements, the amount for global is much different. Like that, I globaled on 6 PED. When I do the Dicobas, however they're pronounced, during the Mayhem event, I'll frequently hit 30, 40 PEDs, but it doesn't count as a global, because I think the PED limit for them is over 50. Or actually, it might be closer to 60, because I think I've gotten some that are 55-ish that didn't give me the swirlies. And again, the reason I'm showing you guys these creatures, it's only temporary, and that's why I kind of jumped to it a little bit. But it's only going to be around for a couple more weeks. I think the last day is January 14th. So, which is plenty of time to kill 300 of these. I think I did 300 in like 2, maybe 3 days. But that was on top of, you know, work and real life stuff. But you get a good afternoon or a day off. It's quite possible to grind through all these. And with the ammo you'd get from the starter pack, you just keep recycling it, keep cycling back in, converting it to ammo, keep going back and forth. Just make sure to keep an eye on your health. One of the disadvantages to this area where I'm hunting right now, having the hills. So as I mentioned before, and I've done a few times on this video, you kind of want to walk backwards as you're shooting these guys. Just cuts down the amount of times they can hit you. It saves you on the weapon repair, on the armor repair, and you know, having to stop and heal. Did they kill them all on me? I see some people up here hunting. But for this event, they are spawning quite a bit to the west of Port Atlantis. I've found them in a few different spots over here, as well as other creatures. It's not like they, you know, got rid of some of the mobs. They just added these in the middle of it. In fact, I think there's one where there's a bunch of level 3 Snarg Stomps, which gave me a run for my money because they were grouped together quite a bit, so it made it quite difficult. But that's, again, where it's good to be tactful, go from the outside. You're using a rifle. Turn into a sniper, as it were. Kind of Choose your shots, pull them out closer to you. No reason to go in, guns blaring. I know I'm wandering a little bit, even rambling a little bit, but I think I'm actually right next to where the snark spots were. Snapple shots. These are level 2, you'll see how quickly they can just drop compared to the snarks. But they can be a little overwhelming sometimes. And here's a good example. You saw that was a level 2. It went down in like 3-4 shots. Now we got a level 3, and I'm on what, 5-6 shots? 7 shots, 8 shots, 9 shots before it dies. So you can see how the levels jump. So be considerate of that. You know, punies, 1 or 2 shots, you got them. Level 2s, you're at 3-4 shots, to be fair. So it's almost like they're doubling as the levels increase. The level 3 you're hitting on the non-event characters. Some of the level 3s you can do it in like 10 shots. Be safe to say that once you hit, you know, level 4 creatures, you're looking at 18 to 20. So keep that in mind when you realize, like, alright, yeah, I'm getting pretty good at killing, you know, level 2s, level 3s. Well, be able to kill them twice, you know, without having to stop. Use that as kind of a gauge for when you're ready to move up, which I'll go over that a little bit later as well in another video. Going to be discussing, you know, when to move on to bigger and better things. And sometimes I don't even like moving on to other things because I just see, you know, the loot is just well worth it. I'm still leveling up. As long as I'm still getting these skills, still getting those gains, you know, I have no problem hanging out in the same one for a little while. Occasionally I just want to go on to another one just to, you know, change the scenery, change the pace. Sometimes I've spent many hours so far in the Merry Mayhem event. I probably later on spend, I'm going to do a couple more hours because I finished one round of it, which is a 15-hour event. Finished one round of it and currently placed 24 in it, which I think I can do better. So I know I was using a gun, you know, that was a little out of my range at first. Now it's kind of in my range, so I think I can pump up those numbers. Yeah, keep backing up. See how long it's taking them to get to me. I'll probably get an extra 2-3 shots just by backing up. That's it. For this event, you're looking at about 300 of them to get that rifle. And be patient with them. And because of its event, it's a popular thing, so you will find people all over, including people that can probably like one-shot some of these. You know, if I was using a different gun, I might be able to hit it, you know, kill these a little quicker. But I just want to show the doability, the realisticness of being able to kill it with the starter pack. Probably gonna have another 2-3 videos. Maybe not in a row. Maybe in a row. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Of using the starter pack, you know, equipment. That way, it's, you know, this is where you're at. Where I was at, and now that we're comfortable with it, leveled it to the max, you know, now we can move on to bigger and better things. Starting to back up, and for some reason my gun stopped firing. And you'll notice sometimes I'm not even clicking on the creatures. There's hotkeys, you know, you can program the keyboard to recognize, you know, certain things, to cycle through characters, which after I kill this one, I'll go over. There's no point in me talking about it without you know, showing you guys. That would be kind of a letdown, wouldn't it? So, see the hotkeys up here? They all got symbols and letters in the corner. Clicking on those letters, you know, will get you to that thing. Now, Ed panel is the most useful one when we're talking about the hotkeys. because it allows you to adjust. So you're able to add more to these. Because if you hit N, it brings up all the actions you can possibly do. So you can move all these over, onto the screen to be able to do them. Or you can bring them onto here, so you can click it on your keyboard to be able to use them. Now the big ones for me, obviously we have our movement ones, our walking around ones. All right. Now another popular one for me is use tool, which I programmed to the E because it's right next to my hands, makes it nice and easy to be able to select. Now a benefit to this one, if you hit E, it uses the tool once. So in this case with the gun, it would fire once. If I'm using a healing device, it would heal it once. Now if you hold down E, it'll eventually put it on auto tool, which is what down here, you see how it's automatically essentially firing repeatedly. Now it's not firing because there's no target, but it's constantly, attempting to fire. That's what happens when you hold down E. It'll keep the firing going. So when it came off of it, that it was probably just a little glitch, or if I move away from its ability to, fire, it'll take it off because it thinks that I don't want it to anymore. But this is very helpful, especially if, so you don't have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking, or press one button after button after button. It gets repetitive. It's not very fun. Now, another popular one that I like using is the tab button. Now, if you notice when there's creatures around, you'll see little arrows above their head. Now, if I were to tab, it will automatically target that creature. And since I already have the auto use tool on, it's automatically going to fire at him. Now that creature's dead, you notice next to it, the next one has an arrow over. Hit tab again, will automatically target that creature. So this is very helpful, especially when your skills are up a little bit, you get maybe better guns. Because if you have like 10, 15 creatures there, and you can kill them in 2 or 3 shots before they ever get to you, you can just sit there and cycle through all of them. Just shoot, they'll move over to the next one, hit it 2, 3 times, kill it, tab, move over to the next one, and literally you can, skill up, loot up, by pressing a single key. It does the work for you practically. Another popular thing I use for the keyboard on here, I'll assign weapons and healing devices. Make it easy so I don't have to open up my inventory every single time I want to, heal or switch, weapon or whatnot. So as you notice up here, I got my healing device. It's actually on there's like a backward apostrophe key. For one, I actually have the weapon we're on right now, the Barbarella. Now if you were to hit these buttons as well, it'll automatically do use tool. So keep that in mind. You can always just keep tapping that if you wanted to. But it'll equip it based on, as long as you're not in the middle of something. So if I were to try to switch to the healing device, it'll stop the auto use tool, give me a little message saying, wait to finish. If I hit it again, it'll swap to that unit. Notice I didn't click on anything in the inventory because I already have it on my keyboard. So press 1, takes me back to the gun. Now on here I also have a melee weapon, which I've had for quite a while. Actually, this used to be a TT weapon. Now the TT weapons are limited. This is actually unlimited, so it's probably it's a little rare nowadays. And then 3 is the current weapon I normally use in my normal hunts, which you will see videos of that in the future. Right now, try to keep it to the newer audience. But you can select anything you want from all the actions and be able to assign it here. You pretty much never have to open a menu. Set it and forget it kind of thing. If you have a limited weapon, you will have to cycle out these buttons for each limited weapon. Because if you notice, I have like 3 of the same weapon on here. So I can set that up, 3, 4, 5 as each one of these separately. Even though it's the same weapon, but because, the TT values, the decay will all be different, they are unique weapons. But 3 works perfectly for me. That's right next to E. So I can put, a gun on, start firing right away. It's quick and easy. That's the name of the game for me. I want to keep it as simple as possible. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go out there, kill some of these Snargs, get that Merry rifle. It's said 300 of these things will go by quick, and they do loot pretty well. Like I said, you saw me get a global, you saw me get a weapon, and that was, I killed what, 20 of them, maybe 25 of them, in just a few minutes. I mean, this video is less than 30 minutes long. We're just kind of hanging out talking at this point. But it's very doable to get these. Get good skills, good loot. Hey, you can win at an event. Hey, you really cannot beat that. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be publishing a few more videos in the near future. So please be sure to check back. If you're subscribed, you wouldn't even have to check back. You'll get that notification. All right, guys. Have a good day.